start with you, Nick.
Yeah, what a way to kick things off. Just a real sigh of resignation. I guess we got to start with you. That's fine. Um, yeah, things have been fine. West Michigan Weather Watch. We're under a winter weather warning, so that's a winter weather warning for the West Michigan Weather Watch. Sounds like I'm in a Dr. Seuss book at this point. Um,
Yeah, yeah. That's like a Doctor
yeah.
Who thing, really. Um,
Don't ask me to talk about any of the rest of it. I know Matt Smith is in it. That's fine. Um, yeah, so that happens tonight. Very excited. Maybe we'll get some snow. Um, Other than that, just nervously trying to get all of my Christmas shopping done down to the wire. So
mhm.
that's, capitalism, that jolly old man. Thank you so much, Santa. And beyond that, I paid $50 last night to watch the Lions game, which that's what happens when thank you NFL for locking us out from watching that game. So I now have NFL Plus for the rest of the year. I guess I'll have to try to make use of that. um
Wait. You only have NFL Plus
no,
until
no, no, no,
the end of
it's a full
2023?
calendar year. So yeah.
Okay.
Believe me, I
I
know exactly what you're thinking, Nick.
this
You didn't buy this for 3 weeks. No.
I mean, that's the thing though with sports, the way that they do
Oh
sports streaming and all of the weird
yeah.
limitations and like the way they do blacking out of different games. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, you have to buy it for the calendar year, and once the year ends, you have to buy it again on January 1st
Yeah,
because they could, just because they could, right? The greed has no end when it
sports
comes to
licensing is
sports.
just so bonkers. And yeah, with this game, if you like lived
Exactly.
immediately in the Detroit region, for some reason they got the game like local access, but the rest of us had to, you know use Fubo TV, whatever that is, or
Definitely didn't put malware on your,
yeah,
computer to watch it, right?
I just binged Fubo and then just downloaded whatever it said, and I don't know what's going on, but my computer hasn't worked for 3 days, so
uh,
But you got to watch the Lions play
yeah,
sports, and that's what's important,
exactly.
right?
So, yeah. Beyond that, I did manage to read some books, so I'll just beat you to the punch on that one. Maybe for the first time, I'm like one for
Okay.
10 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Xander, if you want to put up like a Nick White, beating Mike to the punch on discussing comics stat line, just audio commentary that in. One
Yeah,
for
put that up
10.
for all of
I'll
our
even do the
audio
math. That's
listeners. Yeah.
10%. So I read Our Bones Dust. Number one. I know a couple people on the show have read this book. And yes, that is the title. No, there's no punctuation. No, there aren't any other words in it.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? It was very clear to me. It was you finished the book, and it'll be clear. So, this is written and
Uh-huh.
drawn by
Uh-huh.
Ben Stenbeck, with colors by Dave Stewart, letters by Russ Wooten. If you aren't familiar with Stenbeck's name, I can't blame you. It just probably means that you're not like really well versed in the Mike Mignola aesthetically adjacent cohort group. Um, I'm talking like Max Fiumara, Duncan Fegredo, Lawrence Campbell, Steinbeck, uh, rather Stenbeck. Sorry, wow, we're getting into some real historical novelists here now. Stenbeck drew the first half of Baltimore. He drew the Frankenstein Underground miniseries, and he also recently drew the Hellboy, the Silver Lantern Club miniseries, amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not surprised that in terms of having Dave Stewart on colors and Russ Wooten on letters, you basically have more or less the just constant two people that are on more or less any Mike Mignola book. So they came along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Um, like at the very least, this book is going to be a pretty one from that point. Um,
Right.
and yeah, at the beginning, that's kind of what I had to cling to. I was starting to read this book and I was like, oh boy, just another post apocalyptic narrative. Like, everybody's trying to murder each other over a bottle of Dasani, and everybody's horribly disfigured, and just oodles of scars, and people are just eviscerating other people for saying the wrong thing and worshiping skulls that are part of some cult. And I'm like, okay, like, I mean, fine. Um, but then the book takes this weird little twist where you have the
Don't
yeah. No,
don't
no, no,
spoil
no,
it
no,
too
no,
much
no.
though.
This isn't
Don't
like
spoil it too much.
I'll be careful. Famous last words, Nick White. Put that.
Nick, I
Put
swear to God, Nick, we've been doing this show
I'm
for
not gonna
400
fool me
episodes, and I
again.
swear to
No.
God,
Um.
the number of times
No
you said
spoilers.
no spoilers, don't
Yeah.
worry,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
completely spoiled the book is
It's
in the
yeah, but
dozens.
you know,
Okay,
Zander, put up the stat line on that too, please. What's my
yeah,
percentage?
please.
No, I will describe what happens at the outset of the book, and we will leave it there. So you have these. I don't know what they are. Are they robots? Are they aliens? Are they humans? Are they from the future? What? Who knows what they are? But you've got these creatures that have come down to what appears to be Earth, and they're going through different
Mm-hmm.
things on Earth, and they're looking through all the different like remnants of technology that have been strewn around the planet, and they're looking at the satellites in space and trying to read information from them, and they're like, well, I don't really think there's much else here, we might as well leave. But one of them goes down to the planet and starts following some of the action that happens around, and I think that that's really what helps put this book firmly into the like, where is this book going? Who are these things? What are
Mm-hmm.
they doing? What is their goal? Why are they interested in this silent protagonist who like stole a bottle of water and now he's got this gang coming after him? I think it adds such a good amount of interesting questions that propel this book out of the terrible people doing terrible things to other terrible people because somebody wants a drink of water, which is already happening in
Mm-hmm.
modern society, so not that much of a departure, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nick the optimist. It's. I think you're totally right though with this book, because the thing is, anybody can do a dystopian. It's the end of the world,
And
Mad
these
Max
days it
style. We'll
feels
run
even
out of
more
gas.
well
We'll run out
worn,
of
right?
water.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very overdone, and I think that Steinbeck has Stenbeck, excuse me, has and it's the same thing. Stenbeck has done something to say, I'm going to take that idea and I'm going to twist it enough to where I add an extra interesting piece of this. This is what we need in this type of genre. Of like, we're going to do crazy, wild, dystopian bullshit, whatever, but there's another layer here that adds a whole different set of intrigue to the story that made me super excited for issue 2. Like, I'm so jazzed for how this issue ended, to be like, I have no choice but to pick up
Yeah.
this next issue. And I think that's how you do a good indie miniseries that's going to hopefully conclude in a way that is satisfying. I don't care at this point. Like, number 2 is coming home with me one way or another, because I gotta know what happens.
Yeah,
with these
and I
folks.
think I always appreciate when you have artists that shift over to writing, that they don't try
Mm-hmm.
to get superly ambitious and be like, look at me, I can do, how do I put this?
How do you put this
Yeah, yeah,
without
yeah, yeah,
calling
yeah.
somebody
No,
a
I think I think sometimes when people switch over, they like try to like really prove that they're this big writer and they're going to use a whole bunch of words and they're going to do a whole bunch of things, when in fact most artists that have been artists for a long time, like, they've already mastered storytelling, visual storytelling, with as few or as, minimalist words as needed. I think that they've already
Right.
figured that out, and so when you flip over, like, go strength to strength, like, do what you know how to do. And I think having a book where I'm pretty sure, is this a spoiler? The main character, I think, says something or borderline nothing, and the book's
Yeah,
dialogue
almost
is
nothing.
sparse, it's efficient, it's to the point. This book doesn't get hyper wordy because somebody goes, well, I guess I'm writing the book now, so I better write a really big book. No different than when you have novelists who are new to comic books and they decide that they're going to write a comic book and it gets hyper wordy and it's just, well, I better fill the
Mm-hmm.
page, right? It's like, well, I better fill the page syndrome.
Yeah.
And
But Steinbeck does not do this at all. That's what you're saying.
Stenbeck, this guy did not
Stenbeck, oh my
write Travels with
God.
Charlie.
Right. Stenbeck does not do
Yeah.
this in his
Anyway,
book.
this guy wrote The Grapes of Wrath in his free time several decades ago, so he's just a remarkably resilient individual.
Anyways, Nick, please wrap up this
Yeah,
talk.
please
about
wrap
this
it
book.
up
We have
before
to
one
move
of
on.
us accidentally attributes more novels to his name.
Yes,
Look,
please.
it's a beautiful book. It's an exciting book. It has intriguing questions, and it looks fucking great. I I almost feel like I don't have to say that just because the art team is so solid, but it looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
And Stenbeck absolutely nails what I'm pretty sure is his first writing job by just sticking to his strengths, and the visual storytelling is so
Mm-hmm.
good.
Absolutely. Everybody that I've recommended this book to has turned around and said, "Oh my God, how did I not know about this book? Thank you so much," because it is that good of a book. So, yeah, totally on board with what you're saying.